Greetings, Earthlings! Today I'm back with a review of another relatively affordable condenser microphone. That microphone being the Avantone CK-6 Classic, and if you are interested in this microphone, it will cost you around $170. Like always, I will throw some links in the description down below. And for this review, I have the microphone running directly into the Focusrite 18i20 2nd Gen, recording 24-bit 48 kHz. My gain is set at around 1230, and I will not do any kind of post-processing, but I may have to boost it a little bit in post, so check the doobly-doo to see what I diddly did. And now let's talk about what comes in the box. That didn't sound good. First off, you'll get a storage pouch for the microphone. You'll of course get the microphone. You'll also get a shock mount, which does come with a 5/8 to 3/8 inch microphone stand adapter, a couple of additional elastic bands in case you lose one or one breaks on your shock mount. And it does say it comes with documentation, but I didn't get any, so no documentation? Then as far as the build quality, it does feel pretty solid. It has an all-metal body as well as a metal mesh grill, but the grill doesn't feel too sturdy. It has a bit of give to it. On the front of the microphone, you do have two switches, a high-pass filter and a negative 10 decibel pad. As we move around the microphone, there is nothing else. If you are curious, here is what the PCB looks like. It does look pretty good compared to some of the more affordable microphones, and I just wanted to include this because I was curious about what it looked like as well. There you go. And lastly, if it does matter to you, this microphone is made in China. Then as far as the specs, this microphone has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 35 Hz to 20 kHz, a sensitivity which is unlisted, a self-noise of 17 dB, I'm assuming that is A-weighted, a max SPL of 136 dB, an impedance of 200 ohms, and a phantom power requirement of plus 48 volts. Now I'm spinning around the CK6 to 90 degrees so you can hear the off-axis rejection and coloration. We'll continue around the microphone to 180 degrees. Here's what the rear sounds like. Continuing around the microphone to the second 90-degree angle. There we go. And then rotating and ending at the front of the mic. Now let's see how well the microphone does at rejecting plosives. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please provide pizza pronto. It should have been provide this entire time, shouldn't it? Should it not have been? Tell me in the comments. Now I am right on top of the microphone to demonstrate the proximity effect on this thing. Now I'm about 3 inches away from the microphone with it pointed at the corner of my mouth, and here is how it's sounding. About 1 foot away from the microphone, about 2 feet away from the microphone, and about 4 feet away from the Avantone CK-6. Now I am typing on a keyboard with Gatoron blue switches to see how much of my voice versus how much of the keyboard it picks up. And the gaming god demands it, so I will make the sacrifice and bow down and type on the sad W keys. And here's how much of that it picks up against my voice. What? Here is how the microphone sounds in a well-treated room. And here is how the microphone sounds in a completely untreated room. Next, to see how well the provided shock mount works, I'll go ahead and tap on my desk to see how much of that noise it can reject. And then I will tap on the boom arm. And now, just to be thorough and a little bit annoying, I will go ahead and tap on the body of the microphone to see if there are any kind of resonant frequencies. I'd say yeah, there are resonant it's a bell. That's bad. Engaging one of the switches seems like you're actually hitting a bell. Listen to this. That's just crazy. And again, I am right on top of the microphone to really accentuate the proximity effect. I do not currently have the high pass filter engaged, and here is how the microphone sounds. And now I have switched on the 80 Hz high-pass filter, and here is how it's sounding. You should hear a decrease in the low end. It doesn't sound as though it's affecting my voice too much in my headphones, but there you go. Just a very quick spoken word test with the high-pass filter engaged. Next, in order to get a bit of context for this microphone, we're going to do a quick spoken word comparison between the CK-6 and a bunch of other microphones that are available so we can see how it stacks up against the competition. Like always, we'll start on the mic we're reviewing. This is the CK-6. I am 6 inches away, my gain is at 1 o'clock, and here's how it sounds. First up, we are on the Neewer NW700. This is around $20. I am 6 inches away, gain still at 1 o'clock. Check the lower third to see how much I boost this in post, and let's do some more comparisons. Back again for a very quick palette cleanser on the Avantone CK-6. Nothing has changed, and let's jump to the next one. Now we are on the Neat Worker Bee. This is a $90 cardioid-only condenser microphone, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock, and here is how it sounds. Let's jump back to the whatever mic we're reviewing. My brain just went blank, and do more things. Back again on the Avantone CK-6. What a surprise, nothing has changed. Let's go to another microphone and hear how it sounds. Next, we are on the MXL V67G. This is a $100 cardioid-only condenser microphone, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. Check the lower third to see how much I boosted it, and let's jump back to the CK-6 and do more tests. Avantone CK-6 again, just so you can hear how this microphone sounds directly compared to this next microphone right now. Now we are on one of the most popular microphones out there. This is the Technica AT2020, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. This costs $100, and here is how it sounds. AT2020 versus Avantone CK-6. It's over there. Let's do more comparisons now. Fifth time's a charm, I think that's how the saying goes. That's not how it goes at all. Avantone CK-6, let's go to the next one. Now we are on the Blue Ember. This is Blue's $100 XLR cardioid-only condenser microphone offering. 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. Here is how it sounds. Check the lower third to see how much I boosted it, and let's jump back to the Avantone. All right, CK-6 again. Nothing has changed. 6 inches, 1 o'clock on the gain dial. There you go. Now I am on the AKG P120 cardioid-only condenser microphone, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock, and this goes for about $105. No high-pass filter, no pad engaged, and there you go. Let's go to the next one. I bet you wouldn't have thunk it, but we are on the Avantone CK-6 again. Listen to it, get a feel for the sound profile, and let's jump to the next one. Next, we are on the Lewitt LCT440 Pure or Pro, I can never remember. This is a cardioid-only condenser microphone. It costs $270, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. Check the lower third to see how much I boosted it, and let's jump to another microphone so you can hear how it compares to that. Or something. CK-6 again, I think this is the 8th time. Listen to it, get a feel for the sound. Nothing has changed. No filters, no gain changes, 6 inches, 1 o'clock. Next one. Now we are on the Rode NT1. This is another cardioid-only condenser microphone, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. This costs $270, and here is how it sounds. Get a good feel for it. It is a pretty neutral sound. Let's jump back to the CK-6 and do a couple more comparisons. We are getting near the end. This is the Avantone CK-6. Listen to it, and let's jump to another microphone. Next, we are on the Lauten Audio LA220. It has been a while since I pulled this out. This is a $300 cardioid-only condenser microphone, 6 inches off, gain at 1 o'clock. None of the filters are engaged, and here is how this sounds compared to the Avantone Pro CK-6 Classic. I had to look to see what it was called because I keep forgetting. Let's jump back to that microphone that I just listed and do some more. I think we have one more after this, but this is the Avantone CK-6, $170. Here's how it sounds. Let's jump to another one. Next, we're making quite a big jump in price because this one costs $1,200. This is the Soyuz SU-023 Bomblet. I think I got that right. Cardioid only condenser microphone. Here is how this sounds compared to the $170 Avantone CK-6, made in Russia, made in China. There you go. Soyuz. Let's go to the next one. And I believe this is the last one that we are doing. I think y'all know what it's going to be. This is the CK-6, 6 inches away, 1 o'clock on the gain dial. Let's jump to the last microphone. Well, hello there. I think you all knew what was going to happen. We are on the Neumann U87 Ai. This is a multi-pattern XLR condenser microphone. Cardioid mode, no pad, no filter engaged, 6 inches off, gain at 11 o'clock. And this is $3,600. So it is just over 18 times as expensive as the Avantone. Does it sound 18 times better? You tell me. Regardless, here is how this sounds compared to the Avantone. And that is it for the comparisons. Let me know which of these microphones you liked the best out of all of them. Did you like the Avantone, or do you think something that was cheaper beat it out? Or do you think the U87 Ai beat it out? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's jump to the music test. There's a person who's gone missing, and we all have to find them so we can find out what's gone wrong. I think y'all know what I'm talking about, but out of fear of being demonetized, I will say nothing more. So let's go to the outro and ignore the darkness that I have just sung about. Let's do that. Okay, conclusion time. Alright, I think this is a great sounding microphone for the price, but it has a single huge drawback that is keeping me from giving it a ringing endorsement. Why am I making puns? That's not who I am. Stop it. But first up, in terms of pros, I found the off-axis coloration to be pretty pleasing, and the high-pass filter was very usable and enjoyable. Typically, I find on-built high-pass filters to be too aggressive. This one seemed to do its job really well without affecting the tone of my voice too much. And then as far as cons, I think y'all know what it's going to be. This microphone has to be one of the, if not the most resonant mics that I have ever come across, so much so that it sounds like a bell, and that's why I made that Hunchback of Notre Dame reference thing. Ringing bells and ringing endorser. You get the joke. That's just unacceptable. That is unacceptable on a microphone. Then as far as my overall thoughts and opinions on this microphone, on the electric guitar I rather liked it. The lows weren't overpowering, they weren't muddy, and if you do find them a bit much, you can throw on the high pass filter and get a very gradual and pleasing high pass out of that to clean it up a little bit more. Then you get a much more mid-forward sound than a lot of condenser mics at this price range. I really do like the low mids, they're very gooey here. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. And then the top end, it's not the most dominant, but it is still there, and it doesn't get piercing, but it also doesn't sound too dull. I really enjoyed overall the tone of this on the electric guitar. Then on the acoustic guitar, the mic still has a really nice body to it, but I wouldn't call it heavy or weighty because it doesn't seem like it's in the bass frequencies. It seems as though that body is coming from the low mids, and then you get overall a much more mid-forward sound still. And then the top end was quite surprising to me because you do get some really nice articulation, a lot of information on the strings, but at no point does it become piercing or sharp to listen to. Next up for singing, you are definitely not getting a modern sound out of this microphone, in my opinion, meaning it's not going to be V-shaped. You're not getting a lot of lows and a lot of highs. You're getting more mids. And on that note, you get this really lovely, warm, and gooey low mid section, which I am a big fan of. And then in the top end, you do get some really nice clarity and detail, but you also have this really nice, airy sheen to it. Not Charlie Sheen, but airy sheen, this shh, just on the top end, which does make it sound more hi-fi than something from the 1920s. I don't know why I'm pulling that decade arbitrarily. Really nice sound for singing is what I'm trying to say. And lastly, for spoken word, what more can I say about this without sounding redundant? Probably nothing. The low end is still there, but I wouldn't classify it as bassy. It's not that heft and weight and depth to it. It is more of a gooey low midsection, which I am a big fan of. And then when we listen to the top end of this microphone, that information is still there. It's still detail, it has clarity, it has all that information. But by no stretch of the imagination would I classify the upper end of this microphone as dominant, especially compared to microphones that are similarly priced. The top end on this thing is recessed in comparison, and the midsection is the real star of the show here. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Avantone CK-6 Classic? It's a big ol' maybe from me. The first thing I want to say is I really enjoy the tone of this thing. It offers something different from the competition, more mid-forward as opposed to modern, and I think it's incredibly workable on every application I tried it on. But the reason that I'm holding back and why I'm hesitant about this microphone is the resonance of this thing. If you're looking for a microphone to use in a situation where you might touch the microphone or tap on the cable, I don't think I can recommend it because that is terrible. That will absolutely ruin a recording, and I think it's pretty unacceptable for a microphone to have that kind of tone, that kind of resonance, that kind of ringing. But on the other hand, if you're looking for an affordable microphone and you are guaranteed that you won't touch it, you won't touch the cable, and you won't even glance at it, then I think this is a really interesting offering because I do really enjoy the tone, and as I mentioned, I think it offers something quite different from the competition at this price point. Alright, I think that's going to wrap up for today, but I would love to hear from you. What did you think of the CK-6 Classic? Do you think that resonance is a deal breaker? And if not, why? Also, which of the microphones was your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you found this video fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, big ol' thumbs down. And I'm skipping all that other stuff. If you want to be one of these awesome people over here, you can do that by clicking the join button or going to patreon.com/podcastage and joining at $5 or more. They really do help me continue to bring you these videos and buy microphones to test them for y'all. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. Bye-bye.